This is a new series we're doing where I analyze and fix our subscribers' games. And stick around till the end to see how you can send in your clips too. The reason this will be so helpful for players and coaches is because currently we've been analysing the very best in the world, which of course is helpful, but most people watching these videos aren't on that exact level yet. Analysing less quality players and then pointing out fixes that they can make to bridge the gap from wherever they are to elite will hopefully give you so many light bulb moments and make these videos more relatable. Lastly, if the player we're covering isn't your position, I still highly recommend watching it because you'll be able to take so much of this information anyway and add it to your own game. Understanding more positions as well as your own on the pitch will make you a more intelligent player, a better leader for your teammates, or a better coach. So let's get right into it. Today we're covering a player called Abiel. Age 17, playing at Plymouth International Academy in England. He's Nigerian and he's also trained with the under-17s Nigerian national team, which is huge. He's left-footed and plays on the wing.
A winger who actually blew me away with some of his dribbling clips. However, we're not covering highlights, we're covering a full in-game performance. As we need some mistakes too. This is the only way you can get better, by learning from your mistakes.
So I watched the whole full game as I value off the ball movement as much as on the ball movements. And I'm really happy I've done this because I found a huge gap in his game from a positioning and movement perspective. The main areas we're going to cover in his performance are dribbling clips, positioning and movement IQ, which is his second biggest weakness. In this game, Abiel has 3 unsuccessful dribbles and 6 successful ones. As mentioned before, dribbling is a massive strong point in his game. Let's point out some good ones, understanding how and why they worked, as well as some bad ones to learn from.
Initially starting on the halfway line from a loose ball, he gets the ball before the fullback and knocks it into space. Now he has the centre-back coming across. What he done follows an elite dribbling principle, and using it is how he made this look so easy. As Abiel approaches the ball with the centre-back running across, he touches it here. Now the centre-back, who was chasing, begins to jockey. Now, here's the secret, how Abiel runs around the ball like this. All he is doing here is creating 2 potential escape angles, opposed to only one option going down the line if he stayed the way he was facing. This now causes the defender to slow down and plant. Also notice how Abiel isn't touching the ball. He's leaving it there as bait for the planted defender to get. As soon as the defender lunges into tackle, he scoops the ball down the line. Note how when he scoops it down the line, his hips are still facing infield as much as he can to not give anything away. Now across into the box and his team gets a chance.
The skill he used is a variation of the angle of approach. And the exact skill he used I discovered about a year ago when I spent a few months hyper-focusing, studying just the angle of approach alone, which is the first of the 4 pillars of a successful dribble in my dribbling framework. The work studying all possible angle of approaches and how they affect each dribble isn't out yet. As you can see here, I'm about 13,000 words in, and I'd say it's roughly 75 to 80% complete. I was going to produce a course from this, but the reason I stopped is because I started getting so many players messaging me, asking about positioning and movement, and I realized that's a really core problem that I need to try and help solve first. But seeing Abiel do this reminded me this project is something I need to finish and add to the dribbling courses. As you can see, an angle of approach alone using no other skill can beat a defender. And that's not the only time he used an angle of approach to beat a defender.
As the ball is coming in, we see him check his shoulder. As the ball is halfway to him, what all top players do. He sees his teammate and the pressure, allowing him to plan this sharp onto. Now as he gets the pass back and touches it into space, let's pause. He has 2 defenders chasing him. Here he shows top dribbling IQ. Just because there is space in front of you doesn't mean you should use it. He now decelerates, touches it infield slightly, runs even more around the ball, opening up 2 potential escape options now. And now, let's rewind and watch how this made the defender who was chasing fast really decelerate. So as we see, he's initially chasing, and as soon as Abiel begins to decelerate and run around the ball, the defender all of a sudden plants hard. Finally, a subtle fake shot into a scoop with his hips open, into space, and a shot. And I'd say here for extra improvement is that scoop to escape needed to be lighter so he could have took a shot instantly after it. But he lets the ball go too wide, doing la craqueta in the corner before getting off a shot. The cross is overhit, and him and the defender are running towards it out wide. The great thing about this clip is the element of going from 0 to 100, which we'll get into. Initially, he has his back to the defender, running wider. Now he cleverly gets side on, whilst the ball is still moving wider, so he can assess and see the picture more. As he really slows down, he then puts his foot on the ball and comes to life, catching the defender off guard. Now for la craqueta. Notice the small bait touch before he does it. This is a massive pattern we see with most successful craquetas in these sorts of scenarios. It acts as bait, covered in the elite level dribbling guide, which Abiel has also taken, saying how much it helped his game. So if you're on the fence, here's proof it's worth the investment. A great use of the chop here. Winning back the ball, now with two defenders chasing, he does a chop to go against the momentum and gives himself more time. But there is one key detail he can't miss here. He combined a fake cross with the chop, which helped sell it more. Now another good one too, and a good cross. What a nutmeg this is. A chasing defender coming, he rolls the ball with his right foot to his left, which acts as bait, and plays it through the defender's legs, immediately catching him by surprise. We all appreciate a good nutmeg. This last one is my favourite. This really is a top 1% type dribble. As he receives, he has his foot on the ball, slightly moving it back and forth. Look what this does to the defender. He's shifting side to side. Now he whips it across his body, and this is bait for the defender to dive in, which he does. And he immediately touches it back inside, avoiding the tackling leg. Now he has a passing lane to bait to the midfielder. He does a body feint to his left, which sends the defender across slightly, ready to press the passing lane, and does his signature scoop through the gap, keeping maximum disguise. Another thing I love about this clip is how relaxed and confident he is. Every move is efficient, and his reactions are lightning fast.
So as we see, Abiel really is a top dribbler. Not many wingers at this age can dribble like that and this efficiently. So let's take a look at some unsuccessful dribbles.
He gets tackled by the chasing defender and the ball goes out for a throw-in, so not the end of the world. As we see, it looks like he tried to delay and move the ball away from pressure with his left foot, but left it too late. So what else could he have done here? As soon as the defender is chasing, we see he's running this way around. That's always something to notice. And he also has a passing lane to the striker to bait. But also maybe he could have just played the pass with the outside of his left foot. But let's say the pass isn't on. He can still use it as bait with a fake pass with his right foot and then an outside chop. Also with his right foot to come back out and play to his fullback. Again, coming out onto a loose ball. The first mistake was controlling with his left thigh, which brings it back towards the defender. This touch would have been better with his right foot or outside of his left foot, snapping it more in field. If he does this, he can then just pass inside to the man running on the edge of the box. Finally, this clip to finish off the dribbling section. A counter-attack from a corner, and he's sprinting forwards and just gets to the ball. Now he has a chasing defender. We see he runs around the ball to put in a cross and the defender gets it. Interesting, a reel I just posted is this Mbappe one from his recent game. He also runs around the ball here to bait a fake cross, which helps the defender dive in because he cuts it back. What's the difference between Mbappe and Abiel here? We see Abiel runs around the ball, more relaxed, and leaves the ball open for too long. Mbappe, as soon as he runs around it, it's then an instant fake cross. And he's running more aggressively. So if Abiel wanted to do what Mbappe done, he would have needed to only have exposed the ball for a split second like Mbappe. But another option is on here, a cut across. Here we see Matoma does this fake cut across, and Abiel worked this perfectly. He already has the chasing defender enticed to the ball by running around it, getting ready for the cross. Now a stretch touch to cut across the defender is on.
As we see, he's already on the road to becoming an elite dribbler, especially as he's got a lot of fundamentals right. But dribbling alone won't help you chase your true potential. We will now cover a weaker side of his game, which, if fixed, will help him get on the ball way more. Now, there are 3 key things I discovered about his positioning that are hurting his game, and most wingers struggle with this too.
Paused. As his striker and the defender are contesting for the ball, this is a common picture in his game. Being way too far inside, not giving the team any width. But why is width even important? We see a similar scenario, but the winger is now stood wider here. Now, what does this width do? It firstly stretches the back line more, as the opposition fullback may want to move across more to block off the pass to feet, and the rest of the back line then needs to move. If not, there are bigger gaps between defenders for passing lanes. The winger being stood here means the opposition fullback can't see the man on the ball and the winger at the same time, making a potential blindside run in behind easier if the opposition fullback comes too far across to block the pass to feet. Now back to Abiel's clip. The defender can easily see him and the man on the ball at the same time. So how would an elite winger think in this scenario? The centre mid gets the ball and does this fake pass and beats his marker. Now Abiel would firstly read the pass is on to his striker. Abiel being where he is would make the striker's life much harder. If he now goes wide, the striker could control and move across the pitch towards his wing, whilst Abiel is on the blind side of his fullback. Secondly, back to the centre mid about to pass to the striker. He could also read that the striker could bounce the ball back to the number 8 midfielder who's running off the back of his marker, who could then drive with the ball or find Abiel wide. Now, Abiel running in behind. His centre mid starts to drive with the ball and Abiel is way too narrow. Why? We can't see the opposition fullback in the clip, but we see his shadow. Abiel's run is way too easy to track and he's in front of the fullback marking him. Secondly, him being this narrow makes the passing lane the ball would have to go through between the fullback and the centre-back smaller than it would be if Abiel was wide. Now against the low block, a little better here. We see how the opposition fullback, whilst looking at Abiel, can't see the centre mid on the ball. But Abiel makes a run as the fullback is looking at him. Now an elite winger here. As soon as he sees the opposition fullback beginning to run inside to block off the passing lane for that blindside run, he would immediately adjust, moving either in to out or doing a vertical drop to receive the feet. Abiel leaves it slightly too late. Finally, he could be way wider here. Again, this would stretch the back line and make the potential blindside run easier. Lastly, with runs in behind, we see the same pattern. He's trying to run across the fullback or just off the blindside, but the fullback can easily see him. Now imagine if he was stood much wider, like this. His fullback now glancing and then looking at the man on the ball. He has no idea where Abiel is, so he runs inside, blocking off the potential blindside run and pass. Now Abiel is more onto feet. Still some minor tweaks he can make here, however.
So this is just covering the basics of movement and decision making with your movement. With this series of analysing our subscribers' clips, as an extra thanks for you guys allowing us to share your clips with the world, which then impacts everyone else, especially in your position, I'm going to gift whichever course is the most important for that player. So with Abiel, we'll be giving him the movement and positioning winger course. Once he understands the whole scope of positioning and movement as a winger, can you imagine how much more he's going to impact the game, as he'll simply be on the ball way more.
A few times whilst playing out from the back, Abiel and his centre defensive mid would take up the same space. Elite players, both the centre defensive mid and winger, would be checking each other's movement and countering it. Here, the centre defensive mid isn't checking where Abiel is, so Abiel now has to realise there is no point him also taking up the same pocket of space. even if he stays a little high too. Because the centre defensive mid coming across like this closes off the passing lane to Abiel. Abiel should now go nice and high, creating more space for the back four and midfielders to work it up the pitch whilst he pins back the back line.
And there's so many ballers out there when they get on the ball, but they just struggle to actually get on the ball. So one of the best things a lot of players can do to improve the game is just learning how to simply get on the ball more. An example of how the top pros work it out from the back, with the defensive mid keeping the passing lane open for the winger.
Ball goes back to the centre back, we see the opposition winger closing down the fullback. Pulisic picks up on this cue and now does a vertical drop. Especially when you're behind the opposition midfielder line, you have a lot of space to drop into. But a vertical drop is also helpful because most of the time you will have a fullback following you tightly, so you can't just turn. He glances as the ball is a third of the way to him and comes back out against the two retreating defenders and lays it off. Now this time we see this centre defensive mid begins to vacate the space, so now Abiel can drop in. But here he needs to drop in more aggressively to really make up the centre back's mind on the ball. An elite winger here notices the opposition winger is locked onto the fullback and the centre defensive mid has dragged away his marker. Now the ball is onto him.
Here's an example of the difference in the intensity here. Watch how fast Garnacho drops in to be an option for the centre-back. Dropping in with this intensity, with the right timing, is communicating to the man on the ball to play it to you, making his life easier.
See Garnacho get this pass of the centre-back versus a high block. The centre-back being pressed from the side, and now you're looking at the opposition winger. If he's too wide, you can get it to feet with a vertical drop.
Now, finally, an area of his game that I'd love to see him start implementing more is dropping inside to collect the ball more. We see players like Cole Palmer and Lamine Yamal do this a lot. Wingers who only stay wide run the risk of not developing their game. Wingers need to be able to play inside like a centre mid in today's game. This means a winger can constantly mix it up. Let's take a closer look.
The title is one of the cues when you know it's a good idea to drop into the space. So the ball is switching play and Abiel does an in-to-out movement. Then the centre-back spins back out wide with the ball. Now as the ball is switching play from the start, an elite winger sees the opposition winger's positioning being too close to his fullback. Now, for me, I'd love to see him drop more into these zones to get the ball from the centre-back directly.
Now let me show you a clip of Rafael getting the ball from the fullback, running across the pitch and then dropping in at the last moment. Although Abiel's clip was with his centre-back, it's the exact same principle.
Same again, look how easier it is now with the opposition winger pressing straight. The winger runs into out and then checks back. Again, why is he running into out first? To keep this space available for as long as possible. If he drops too early, the fullback follows and gets too tight. Again, he also now has a centre defensive mid as an option, but plays this clever pass.
Now the challenge for Abiel to add more strings to his bow, more weapons to his arsenal, is learning how to play inside more, which he will do with the winger positioning course. And it can be so challenging, specifically if a winger has only ever played wide.
Because wingers who play inside more get more opportunities for assists, a great disguise pass here. And goals. Now, the very last thing I want to point out, which is his biggest weakness of all, which I've already spoke to him about, is his scanning habits. This clip was a common picture. No scanning many times. An elite winger here is scanning at least 2 to 3 times, just in case they get an opportunity like this.
And on this point, he asked me a great question. Any drills to improve on this? And here's my advice. So when I was playing in League One in England, just in passing drills alone, like completely unopposed, whenever the ball was coming into any of the players, everybody would scan, sometimes once, sometimes twice, and the whole passing drill was like this, with this intensity, just trying to build that habit. So next time you're in a passing drill with your team, even if no one else is doing it, if you start doing it, I can guarantee you're gonna see more and more of your teammates also start to do it as well. And eventually the whole team will do it, and it will just be a part of the culture at the club. I hope this video has been helpful. A lot of work and tons of time go into videos like this. So if you got anything from it, please leave a like below and drop a comment. I try to get back to all of them. Big thanks to ABO for allowing us to use these clips, which now benefit everyone else so we can all learn together. To send your matcha clips across, for a chance to be on this series, either drop us a message on Instagram or email us. I'll leave the information in the description below. So see how all of these details apply to your own game, but most of all, keep chasing your potential.